Tertiary education is a type of formal education that is taken after high school. The examples of these are universities, colleges, and many more. These type of education mostly focus on specific learning material that is closely related to a major the scholar chose. Like for example, engineering or health may be being a doctorate. Scholars who take this tertiary education also face unique challenges. The challenges this scholar faces is that they need to balance not only their daily academic lives, of which they take Monday to Friday, they would also need to balance their daily life, since most of the scholars who take tertiary education are between the range of 12 to 22 years old. This would make them have the responsibility of both an adult to taking care of their daily needs and a scholar taking classes most days of the week. This can strain their ability to do either side of their lives. Scholars who need to travel long distance to reach their universities will need to spend money to afford transportation or afford gas for their vehicle. This would put a burden in their economy. Constantly putting aside their income for transportation would leave less choices for other aspects of their daily lives. And not only that, they would have to manage their time much more strictly because of the long distances they need to cover. And since I believe that none of us can control traffic to benefit us, the probability of jam traffic must be taken into consideration to make sure that they are not late. In the other hand, if tertiary education are made to be fully online, this would cut down many actions that may be too tedious for the scholars. To prove my point, I will give a couple of examples. Online tertiary education allows scholars to attend class without even being at the class. This would mean that they could attend class when they are at their home, at someone else's place, or even in a public space. Since it's online, any live classes can and would be attended on their own devices. A such example of this is with a friend of mine. Currently, he is able to go for a double program on 2 different universities, since his university allowed their scholars to take their classes fully online. Having the ability to go to 2 universities and attend it in tandem through online classes would allow the scholars to have a higher chance to having a successful future at a younger age due to their 2 degrees in only 4 years, which is the average time needed for people to get even a single degree. And not only that, this would also alleviate scholars of their need to manage their time as much as offline classes do, since they wouldn't need to go from their home to their universities, and they wouldn't need to go from one class to another class, which is far more convenient and time-saving. And lastly, this would also put more money in their pockets, since scholars don't need to buy any gas or buy any tickets to access public transportation to get to their universities. Even universities also have the ability to utilize this extra time that they have since they are taking online classes. Universities can take this extra time and put in either more classes for the students to attend, or a program made specifically by the universities to either boost students or boost scholars' attendance, or maybe even boost scholars' knowledge of their material. And even if the universities didn't choose to add more classes from this extra time, scholars can utilize this time to do an activity that may support either one or even both of their academic and daily lives. Scholars can use their time off to get extra courses to increase their chance of reaching a high score, to increase their chance of successfully getting a degree. Or they can work part-time to fill their pocket and make sure that they are financially stable to pay for their tuition and pay for their daily needs, like for example their food, their drinks, their internet, their rent if they are living somewhere else. Online tertiary education would also be more convenient overall, since the scholars need what the scholars need to do are all contained within the website, an application or something of sorts. what they would have needed half an hour to do because they need to navigate the building, they now could just access in a few clicks. This is way more efficient since scholars can access facilities they need all in the website, and college teachers or professors could use this extra time as well to squeeze in an extra class or program, of which I already said last time. And if it weren't an online class, these extra courses or programs would have need to cut certain other class. Then they would make some scholars clashes with each other because of this cut and added time being inconsistent. Teaching scholars through online education is also much more effective, since this benefit goes both ways. A college using online education could bring in professors or talented people from all around the world. This would open up a myriad of opportunities for scholars to take more specific class or get a chance to talk to the people they admire. This will also increase the quality of teaching professors, because professors outside of the country are generally more skilled in their field of studies. So in conclusion, the move into fully online tertiary education is highly inefficient, time and cost saving, and more beneficial towards both scholars and professors. Scholars can take more classes or even attend a different university altogether to get more education, since they have more time from time to time being non-existent since they are online. Or they could even get a part-time job to fulfill their daily needs and also to extend their work portfolio, so they have a higher chance to get a job since they are more experienced with work culture. And professors could benefit from this online education because they can track their scholars more easily. They can make sure who is online, who is taking their class, and who is doing their homework more easily, since they can just see it from the website. The website can handle that, the application can handle that, and the professors, they just need to see the students and the scholars who attend, the scholars who don't attend, and they can generally get a better readings of their scholars' ability rather than it being an offline one. So that's why we, as the government team, support this motion.